The Call of Duty release was on Friday, and since then I've been spending practically all of my time playing all the different game modes and using as many of the weapons as I possibly could to answer the question, is it actually good? And to be clear, this isn't just a question being asked by an Escape from Tarkov superfan looking for an arcade shooter to mindlessly click pixels every once in a while. This is an Escape from Tarkov superfan hoping the gameplay is good, so DMZ is good. DMZ doesn't release until November 16th, but the gameplay should essentially be the same thing, and I do have a few concerns. Those concerns being the core gameplay, body armor, vehicles, and the AI. The armor in this is somewhat rare, but I know it's a big thing in Warzone, and it's likely going to be the same or similar system in DMZ, especially with the AI. The vehicles are potentially an issue in a mode where you may not be able to find effective ways of eliminating them. Then we have the AI, which I understand we're not like at the top of a mountain here exactly with Tarkov, but the vast majority of time in Call of Duty, these guys are running around with about the same energy as those hunting arcade games that you saw ever growing up, which I used to play all the time and actually still do without even leaving my hideout, thanks to today's sponsor, Hunting Clash. These graphics are some of the best and most realistic for mobile games, helping you feel the spirit of the wild and nature without leaving your home. You can travel across the world with dozens of locations and wild animals to hunt when you get there as well. With each hunt accomplished, you'll also be able to upgrade your skills, weapons, and even train a hunting dog. Compete with other hunters, including weekly competitions and events to develop your shooting skills. Keep progressing through to be able to hunt more and more dangerous animals. If you download Hunting Clash right now, you can enjoy a fantastic Halloween atmosphere in the game. Try a special location with unique animals, which were made just for the event. Test yourself as a ghost hunter with a unique bone collector rifle and other rare weapons to get all the ghosts. This event will be available to all users starting from level 10 and will not last long, so be fast. So guys, download Hunting Clash by using my link in the description box or by scanning the QR code you see on the screen, and use my special gift code NoiceGuy, where you will get a great welcome bonus pack. With the lures from this pack, you'll be able to hunt bigger animals and improve your hunting skills. From there, you can collect all the lures available in the game to become the best hunter. So let me just say, I really do enjoy the core gameplay when it comes to movement and gunplay in this Call of Duty. As the epitome of arcade shooters, Call of Duty is on the opposite end of the spectrum than Escape from Tarkov, but that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it. As I've been saying for the last couple weeks on these DMZ leak videos, these games will not overlap completely. They just can't. Tarkov is looking for realism and grit, where you can really get immersed into each raid and life of your PMC. Meanwhile, Call of Duty is much more fast-paced, and each life on its own can be very forgettable and honestly most times thrown away on a whim. Those two very different core gameplay aspects end up making the difference for these games for those that want to enjoy these games, meaning it is sort of what you're looking for when you decide to play them, if not 100% what you're looking for when you decide to play them. So what makes this year's Call of Duty interesting is now they want to take the gameplay from Escape from Tarkov but inject its own core systems and playstyle into it. A cookie cutter approach to that on its own would make DMZ sort of too easy in my mind, which would end up being a problem for a game like that. You don't want to be throwing your life away quickly and easily because it means you don't care about it, and caring about your life is really the foundation of what makes Escape from Tarkov so good. So even though Call of Duty has done a surprising amount of slowing the game down, and it's looking to try and closely mimic Escape from Tarkov with DMZ, if you're running around each raid or mission or game or whatever like you do in multiplayer or really even Warzone, then at least right now I don't see DMZ sticking around really. Gear fear and everything that revolves around that is a super important feeling that you get when you play Escape from Tarkov, and maybe there's a way to get people to feel it while essentially playing a game that runs off the exact opposite sentiment, but I don't see that working out. So in my mind, there must be a way that they've slowed down the gameplay and changed things up to make DMZ feel more like Tarkov and less like a Call of Duty, but we'll have to wait and see. The next issue I think is going to be the body armor. This shows up in the campaign and a little bit in the co-op missions. In those co-op missions, it's the same as Warzone, where you can just load up your plates. I'm not sure exactly how it will work in DMZ, but from the leaks, it looks like it might be different, where you have an armored vest as a standalone item. That could be a system where depending on the vest, you could load up more plates for added protection, or it could be like Tarkov where there's the different levels. So whatever the system might be, I'm expecting it to be simple, where either there's tiers of vests that just add health points or allows you to wear more of those plates like in Warzone. That's not too big of a deal for players. We see it in Warzone and practically all BRs these days, as the gameplay around it makes sense and it can be a lot of fun at times. What isn't a lot of fun for a lot of people out there is when the AI use it as a crutch for levels of difficulty, aka bullet sponges. I played a lot of the Division 1 and 2, and I'm going to use that as an example here. I liked it a lot and still do, but something I never liked was the bullet sponge enemies. I thought it got boring very quickly when it ended up just being a wall of health over every single thing I tried to shoot, which is weird because I like MMOs like World of Warcraft and New World and looter shooters like Destiny, where it's the same thing for lots of enemies, but for some reason I can play those games no problem, and they have loads of simply just DPS check fights. But again, something about the way that the Division did did bullet sponges on enemies really turned me off about it, and unfortunately I see a lot of similarities to a lot of the enemies that wear body armor in Call of Duty. And again, we haven't seen exactly how they will implement this in DMZ, but how the body armor will work with the AI is something that I'm for sure worried about. Speaking of those AI, that's the next topic because they're pretty dumb. Well, at least most of the time they're pretty damn dumb, and they can get a lot smarter, but we haven't seen it in game yet. Like I mentioned earlier, almost all of the time when you see the AI in game, they are no threat to you. They are just moving targets. They are quite literally like those animals in the arcade hunting games that just run around in front of you. But according to some leaks and data mined information, there's several levels to the difficulty of the AI in multiplayer, the same way as the campaign. And it's not like there's a dial, it's literally a button. It's a different setting. They just make them more difficult by clicking one button. Now, of course, I'm expecting there to be a lot to that button click, but what I'm trying to say is it's not necessarily a dial like balance. So what is potentially a problem is how much more difficult with each leap do these enemies get? Because in game right now, they're clearly set to like Helen Keller or something. In DMZ, they've talked a lot about the strongholds and how the AI in them will, quote, demand your respect. But as Tarkov players, what we heard was aimbot and wallhack robots. Now, granted, the bosses in Tarkov are actually sort of supposed to be like that, or else they wouldn't be notorious and it adds to the game. At least that's what BSG wants. To be clear, I know the AI can be a lot better. I'm speaking strictly about their lethality and how sometimes it's just straight up unfair to have them be that difficult to kill. For better or worse, you sort of need a little bit of that in order to make the game fun. I really do think in the long run it adds to the character of the game in a very good way. But it almost feels like that's an accident the way that it turned out for Escape from Tarkov, and I don't know if Call of Duty is going to be able to deliver on that same accident when it comes to the difficulty of the AI we'll find in DMZ. Because if they're like these absolute potatoes that we see running around Invasion, then it won't be good. Then last but not least, we have vehicles. It's real simple here. The vehicles will suck, and they're supposed to be in DMZ. The thing is, we're just hoping it's not the armored and weaponized vehicles, or at least not the Bradleys with the cannons, because it's already difficult enough to kill them with 30 people in Invasion. I do not want to know how difficult it will be in DMZ, where we'll need to either find or pay big bucks, and also losing that weapon slot every time we want to bring a launcher to the raid. A launcher, by the way, that might not kill the vehicle anyway because of the amount of health that it has. There's references in the leaked missions for DMZ to helicopters and refueling ground vehicles, so there 100% will be vehicles in DMZ. I'm just really hoping that it doesn't ruin it like I know at least it can. So in conclusion, the multiplayer is a lot of fun. I really do enjoy it as an arcade shooter. I think it does Call of Duty levels of gameplay very well. What's yet to be seen though is if it can take that gameplay and effectively inject it into an Escape from Tarkov gameplay loop and ecosystem. Those of you who want to find out with me don't need to wait too long, as DMZ releases on November 16th for free, so we'll see what happens. Thanks again to Hunting Clash for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to use my special gift code NoiceGuy and see you in game. But that's going to do it for today. If you like this video, there is a button for that. Subscribe for more like it, or jump into the comments to tell me that cereal isn't soup, because it is. It is soup. For the latest Tarkov news, check this out. For the latest DMZ news, check this out. Follow me on Twitter or join the Discord. Links below. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.